Beyond the Deck presents Guide to the Hermit. The Hermit is the 10th card in the major arcana of a tarot deck. It is often depicted as a solitary figure, traditionally an elderly person or sage, cloaked and holding a lantern aloft, standing upon a mountain path or amid a quiet, desolate landscape. Symbols associated with this card include the lantern, illumination, inner guidance, and the search for truth, the staff, support, wisdom, and spiritual authority, and the mountain, solitude, elevation, and spiritual perspective, all representing introspection, retreat, and the deep wisdom found in silence. The figure is usually shown mid-step or pausing in stillness, symbolizing the journey inward, the value of contemplation, and the quiet power of spiritual insight gained away from the noise of the world. The Hermit embodies introspection, discernment, and the sacred light of inner knowing, expressed through solitude, reflection, and the commitment to one's authentic spiritual path. Introspection. The Hermit represents sacred solitude, inner wisdom, and the quiet power of reflection. It is the grace that withdraws not to escape, but to listen, embodying the harmony between seeking and stillness, between silence and truth. The wisdom shown here is not shouted or urgent, but deeply rooted. It lives in the quiet step away from the world, in the lamp held high to illuminate the soul's own path through shadow and uncertainty. Its divine essence is reflected in the balance between presence and retreat, in the light that guides from within, and in the invisible thread of insight that binds solitude to understanding. The Hermit is the voice of inner truth, the sacred pause between moments, and a bridge between the seen and unseen, between the noise of the world and the soft, enduring call of the soul. Discernment. The Hermit represents sacred discernment, inner clarity, and the quiet power of solitude. It is the wisdom that steps back not to retreat, but to see more clearly, embodying the space where truth is sifted from illusion and insight emerges from stillness. The clarity shown here is not hurried or forced, but deeply rooted. It lives in the deliberate pause before action, in the lantern lifted to reveal what is essential, and in the calm refusal to be swayed by noise or distraction. Its divine essence is reflected in the balance between observation and knowing, in the light that arises from within, and in the invisible thread of trust that binds silence to understanding. The Hermit is the voice of discernment, the sacred pause that separates reaction from wisdom, and a bridge between the outer world and the inner truth, between the ever-turning wheel of life and the unwavering flame of the soul. The sacred light of inner knowing. The Hermit represents sacred solitude, deep listening, and the quiet light of inner knowing. It is the wisdom that turns inward, not to hide from the world, but to illuminate what the world cannot show, guiding us gently toward the truth that lives within. The light shown here is not blinding or boastful, but steady and enduring. It lives in the lantern held with care, in the silence that softens confusion, and in the path shaped by presence rather than urgency. Its divine essence is reflected in the stillness between thoughts, in the clarity that dawns without force, and in the invisible flame that glows when we are willing to walk alone. The Hermit is the bearer of quiet revelation, the sacred keeper of the inner flame, and a bridge between seeking and knowing, between the vast silence of the soul and the quiet certainty that we are already home. The Hermit speaks to the power of sacred solitude, of stepping away from the world, not to escape it, but to return more whole. It calls us inward, into the quiet where true wisdom lives, and the light of inner knowing begins to glow. This card reminds us that clarity does not rise from chaos, but from stillness, a sacred co-creation of discernment and surrender, of presence without pressure, and of truth that unfolds in silence. To walk with the Hermit is to honor the path of inner seeking, to trust that the answers we yearn for are not always external, but hidden within the soul's most quiet places. Through this sacred pause, we attune to our deeper knowing and emerge bearing the lantern of insight, ready to see more clearly, choose more wisely, and walk forward with grounded peace. Keywords. Upright keywords: inner wisdom, discernment, introspection, solitude, spiritual clarity, quiet reflection, sacred pause, deep insight, inner light, self-inquiry, soul guidance, contemplative presence, silent knowing. Reversed keywords: salation, withdrawal, self-doubt, overthinking, fear of being seen, escapism, emotional detachment, avoidance of connection, paralysis by analysis, loneliness, inner confusion, mistrust of intuition. Meanings of symbols and colors on the Hermit card. 1. The lantern. The lantern represents the wisdom we carry within, truth illuminated from the inside out. It's a beacon of clarity, often shown lighting only a few steps ahead, reminding us that the path unfolds as we walk it. 2. The cloak. The cloak shields the hermit from the outer world, signifying the need for boundaries, sacred space, and turning inward. It also hints at spiritual maturity and the sacredness of solitude. 3. The staff. The staff is a grounding tool, representing stability on the path of self-discovery. It speaks to ancient wisdom and the inner strength that supports us through life's journeys. The mountain. The mountaintop represents the heights of spiritual insight achieved through solitude and reflection. It reminds us that growth often requires a climb, quiet effort, endurance, and distance from the noise below. Blue groundedness, stability, inner strength. These earthy tones symbolize the hermit's connection to the spiritual and physical realms. He's not just floating in mysticism, his wisdom is practical and grounded. Yellow enlightenment, inner wisdom, divine guidance. This represents the inner light of truth and the soul's guidance during dark or uncertain times. The hermit is a powerful symbol of inner stillness, soul-rooted wisdom, and the illuminating nature of solitude. Its meaningful colors and symbols work together to convey a message of introspection, guidance, and the quiet radiance that arises when we retreat inward and listen deeply to the truth within. It speaks to the power of presence as both lantern and sanctuary, offering clarity through reflection and creating a foundation of patience, inner knowing, and sacred devotion to the self and to the path we quietly light for others. The hermit, when drawn upright in a tarot reading, embodies the essence of inner reflection, soul-guided wisdom, and the sacred solitude that nourishes truth. It represents introspection, spiritual seeking, and the quiet strength found in conscious withdrawal from the noise of the world. This card encourages deep contemplation and mindful detachment, suggesting that now is a time to retreat inward, to listen to the voice within, and to follow your personal light through the unknown. In addition, the hermit signifies spiritual maturity, intuitive guidance, and the transformative clarity that emerges when we honor silence, discernment, and the journey of self-discovery. It reminds us that solitude is not isolation, but a sacred space where truth is revealed and our path becomes illuminated. When this card appears, it often indicates a moment to pause, reflect, and reconnect with your inner compass, to step away from distractions, seek deeper meaning, and trust that your light, however subtle, has the power to guide not only yourself but others toward greater understanding and peace. The hermit, when drawn in reverse, speaks to a period of disconnection, spiritual confusion, or resistance to the inner call for solitude and reflection. It suggests that your inner guidance may feel dimmed, ignored, or clouded, manifesting as restlessness, loneliness, or avoidance. This reversal calls attention to the places where isolation has become disempowering rather than illuminating, or where introspection has tipped into overthinking, withdrawal, or emotional detachment. It may point to a time when you are hiding from your own inner truth, fearing what silence might reveal, or mistaking solitude for abandonment rather than sacred space. The reversed Hermit invites you to gently reconnect with your inner light. It reminds you that wisdom is not found in avoidance or escape, but in mindful presence, soul honesty, and the willingness to be with yourself fully, even in the dark. When this card appears reversed, it is a compassionate call to realign with your truth, to seek guidance if you've become lost in your own labyrinth, and to remember you are never truly alone. Your light is still there, waiting to be tended, and to shine once more. Journal questions that can help you learn and understand the Hermit card more deeply. What are the main symbols and images on this card, and what do they represent? Analyzing the card's imagery can help you grasp its underlying themes and messages. Look for colors, objects, and figures, and research their traditional meanings in tarot. What is the traditional meaning of this card in a reading? Understanding the card's conventional interpretation can provide a foundation for its use in readings. This includes both upright and reversed meanings if applicable. How does this card relate to the other cards in its suit or major arcana? Identifying the card's position within the larger structure of the tarot deck can offer insight into its role and significance. Compare it to other cards in its suit or sequence. What are some common themes or life situations this card might represent? Reflect on how the card's meaning can be applied to real-life scenarios. This helps in connecting the card to personal experiences and readings. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Find us on Facebook.